welcome to episode 6 of the Lyrical Breakdown. My name is Sio, the mouthpiece, the artist, the crazy lady with the bad jokes. So in this episode, I'm going to be talking about the 5th song in my Twin Tapestries album, produced exclusively by Dave Martin. And I also actually produced. So I've been lying this entire time. Dave and I co-produced and co-wrote. So we are 50-50 in the production space as well as 50-50 in the songwriting space. I've been lying. I'm so sorry, Dave. It is a thorough mix. We made the pots. This is the backstory. So Father Mizi and I were dating, and it was round 1 before the first breakup, before I realized there was a side, because it's the saga of the side. I just didn't feel particularly useful. And that's not even the way you should feel in a relationship, at least I don't think. But again, what do I know? Because I've never been good at relationshiping. Anyway, so there came a couple of times when I just felt him withdraw. And I was just like, what is up with this withdrawal stuff? Like, have I done something wrong? So I would go through periods where he wouldn't speak to me for days. Like, he'd ghost me. I'm just getting coffee because it's cold. Today is biting. Today they opened an Arctic fridge. Yeah, and we are living in it. So, he'd essentially ghost me. So he'd breadcrumb and ghost me, which is the phrasing of the day. And he wouldn't respond to me for 3, 4, 5 days at a time. And then he'd saturate me with a very long call at the end of the week. Mind you, I'm also not the kind of person who cares if you call me every day. It's not really my thing, but like after 3 days of silence, actually, I start to feel some anxiety, I suppose, or I used to. I ain't feeling nothing because I'm alone and I'm the only person I'm communicating with, so happiness. And I wrote this song and I realized after, because we'd essentially connected over music and creating music together, because he was making music at the time or getting back into making music at the time, and he is a brilliant bassist and composer, and I was drawn to that brilliance in him. He kind of would withdraw when we weren't talking about making music together, and I started to feel used. In short, hence the title YUSE. And I wrote the song and I sent it to him, and he's like, is this about me? And I'm like, what do you think? And he didn't respond further after that. And I was just like, okay, keep it in the pocket. So I think I wrote that roughly in 2018. I kept the song, having dealt with sort of my anxieties and insecurities and addressed them, because like I said in a couple of episodes, I processed by writing and putting my feelings into art, because I wasn't a crier. Still am not, but that's how I process. So I'll either write a poem or I'll write a song, and I wrote the song. And the song goes like this. Again, shout out to Dave Martin and actually myself, because I forgot I was a producer on the thing, because I'm so used to being the songwriter and singer on the thing. But this is YUSE, out on Statue Beats, and it goes like this.
You see, I know that you've been hurt before, and I know that you walked out on you. Oh, I know that no matter where you go, she's a pain in the back of your mind. I know she took all she could get, and I know that it's hard to forget. Oh, I know she filled you with regret, but I'm not gonna do what she did to you. Will you love me
to say he did not love me when I was no longer of use to him. So that was use, and this is the lyrical breakdown. So I say, you see, I know that you've been hurt before, and I know that you walked out on you, which speaks to the former relationship he had, and even somewhat I've had where people have walked out on me, as all people who have been in relationships will understand that people walk out and they leave. Then I say, I know that no matter where you go, she's a pain in the back of your mind, which speaks to me having an understanding that the past relationships haunt you sometimes. And I am very much that person right now who's incredibly wary of new people and new approaches and new propositions, at least romantic ones, because I'm just like, are you going to repeat the same performance now? Because me, I don't want another Oscar winning performance of Lies. Mm-mm. Then I say, then I know she took all she could get, and I know that she's hard to forget, which again speaks to sort of how deeply people and relationships and outside of just romantic ones can scar you to the point where, as I am currently, incredibly wary of engaging with new people and frightened that they may hurt you again. Um, yeah, and I've clearly built up towers and turrets that you can't cross because there's a moat with crocodiles in there. So good luck. You must come with a boat. I'm not pulling no bridges down. Strong. Then I say, I know she filled you with regret, but I'm not gonna do what she did to you. That speaks to me in my romantic dreamer-esque state that I'm not gonna do the same thing she did to you. And then the chorus goes, will you love me when I'm no longer of use to you? And that's very personal to our relationship and how we were brought together, because outside of music, it didn't feel like we could connect. And I stayed in the thing by force. Yes, guys, I learned. Yes, sir. I learned. Yeah, I learned. And then verse 2 goes, you see, I know that vows aren't meant to break, and I know people take all they can. So essentially, everybody's trying to snatch opportunities out of your hands and make an opportunity of you and make an opportunity and leverage you for their benefit. And that's something I've experienced in my life as an artist, as a woman, as a model, as somebody who's perceived in a specific way, in many ways. People just see it leverage and they want to take. Sometimes it's not even people who are in the same industry as I am or interested in the same things. It's just something about my energetic vibration. For those who are alchemists and understand the vibration of energy and frequency, there's just some people who latch onto that because they like it and they want to use it and they suck you dry. So there's that. Then I say, and I know that no matter what you have, somebody will snatch it out of your hand. That speaks to people wanting to take what you've earned out of your hands without having to do the work that you've done to get it. Because taking it from you is easier than doing the work to get it, right? Because people, I think, for the most part, and I'm not saying everybody is, but in general, I feel like people are lazy, man. And I am actually quite lazy as well, but not in this context. I'm not lazy to work for what I want, and do the work energetically, spiritually, mentally, psychologically, and emotionally to get the work done. And it takes a toll on me to do what I want for myself, because I never want people to steal from me, even though they do it ad nauseum. Then I say, I know that nothing comes for free, and I know that I'm hard to believe, which speaks to people feeling like, and there's some ways and this is true, and there's some ways that this is not, because you didn't work for a lot of things. Like, I didn't work for a lot of the gifts I have. I've been blessed with a lot of beautiful gifts, but I put them to use because everybody's got a startup egg. They've got the blueprint of what they're going to use in the game of life to win, right? You have your arsenal and your the bag of tricks for the gamers. Y'all get this better than anybody else. But in a way, we've been taught to work so hard for everything. And sometimes this is true and sometimes it's not, right? And there's just sometimes where I can't circumvent the grind of the thing because I am essentially quite lazy by nature. So I will think very long and hard about the quickest and the easiest way to do a thing. So in that context, I don't think effort, a lot of like intense hard work and grind is needed for a lot of things. So, but then there's also the school of thought that believes the opposite. You don't deserve anything you didn't work for, right? And there's also that part of me that operates in that way. So, a lot of people tend to operate in the latter version rather than the former, and everybody's kind of wary of free things. Some people just latch onto free things because they have good hearts and open minds, and generally nothing bad happens to them. But there's some of us who are just like, what's the catch? Why are you giving me this thing for free? What is the consequence of this acceptance? So that speaks to that. Then I say, I know that I'm hard to believe, but if you would just be brave, I'm a place to lay your head. But I need to know. So that speaks to you being brave enough, or taking a leap of faith, taking a step off the ledge, standing on the cliff face of your fears and your doubts, and opening yourself up to the potential of love in this context. But just opening yourself up to anything. And in my case, it would be dropping the drawbridge of my very intense fortress and letting people in, and I'm just like, ooh, yeah, nah, nah. In short. But that was me asking said person to let me in and to be brave enough to not block me. But now it's just more a story to myself to be that way, if I'm honest, because I really don't care what he does or is doing. It's not my business. But within context of the song, it was written in a space where I did care. So and unfortunately, it is what it is. And then I go back to the chorus and I ask, but I need to know, will you love me when I'm no longer of use to you? And like I said, I wasn't loved when I wasn't useful. But anyway, that was the lyrical breakdown of YUSE, which also happens to be one of my favorite songs on the album, just sonically because of how different it sounds. I love how it sounds like stuff is tearing, like there's a tearing sound to it. There's a ripping apartness in the production that I really loved, and it spoke to Tone Tapestries as a whole. It's almost like the center of gravity for Tone Tapestries sonically, because it sounds like it's tearing, and that's exactly what the album is about, tearing me apart. Thank you once again for liking and sharing and subscribing. Please continue to do so. Thank you for sharing my series, The Lyrical Breakdown. So much love. Thank you for all of your comments and all of your likes. And I hope you liked this episode of the Peace.